All right. So we are officially live here on Friday. So this is going to be a Friday jam session. If this is your first time here, well, what we do on Friday jam sessions is we basically address one topic or one question, and then we drill into that. Speaking of drilling in, we're going to be talking about drilling down, or also known as niching down. So this way here, you can create your brand inside of a sub niche, which is also a lot easier to do, especially when you're first starting. It also allows you to be able to expand outside of just that sub niche, but you're going to get a lot more traction if we niche down. I just sent an email out to my list talking about this, and I actually shared a screenshot from a brand that we actually revealed inside of Brand Creators Academy yesterday. And we're getting just over 1,200 visits a day now. It started with nothing. And this is about 16 months ago. And we deliberately niched down. Okay, we could have went after this massive market, but instead we niched it down, and now we're starting to get some traction. And I'll talk a little bit about what I feel is something that is not utilized enough to get traffic relatively quickly. And I say relatively quickly, when you're putting out content, if you are in a competitive space, or even not, let's just say that you're just in an average niche, it's going to take a little bit of time to rank, especially if your niche or your website is new. Once you start to get a little bit of traction, once you start to get a little bit of authority within Google, it's going to be easier to rank for those harder keywords and stuff. So we want to do that stuff later. But anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So hopefully, if you're watching this on the replay, you are here to learn about niching down, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. I have one example I'm going to be sharing with you, so I hope that will paint a really good picture for you to understand what that looks like. So do me a favor. And it's funny, Alejandro is in, class is in session. Yes. And I think it was you, Alejandro. I think it was. And I posted a screenshot there today. Let me take a look real quick. And guys, as I'm letting people come on live, just drop in the comments. What's going on for you right now? Inside of your brand, what are you most excited about? So let me know that while I'm looking at this real quick, because I want to make sure that it was Alejandro, and it was. And Alejandro says, "Bro, I feel like I'm learning from a professor, with wearing the new glasses and all." I actually posted that because I thought that was hysterical. And what's really funny is, man, if you go back to when I was in high school, not the swiftest, like not the smartest kid. Right. Now, common sense wise, I've always been pretty good at that, like really good at that. I'll actually give myself more credit now than I used to ever. I've got a pretty good sense of, understanding basic common sense. But to some people, even really smart people, that common sense doesn't exist. It can't really be taught. So when I was in high school, didn't really feel that smart. To this day, I don't really feel smart when it comes to technical stuff or things, I guess, that I'm not interested in, because I guess my brain doesn't work that way as far as learning from a book. I have to actually do it and apply it. But anyway, Alejandro, thanks for pointing it out that I am now officially a professor, or at least I look like one. So I think that's hysterical. So thank you. Anyway, Kate, good morning to you. What's up? Happy Friday. Salama's in the house. What's up, Salama? How do you know when you are too niched down? Great question. We're going to address that. Absolutely. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to officially kick this off. I'm going to give it one more minute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dig in, and I am going to kick this off for our Friday jam session, like I always do, because this will be aired on the podcast. Now, before we do, as you know, depending when you are watching this, we are going to be doing a live workshop, and it is called the Niche Finder Fast Track Workshop. And this is where we are going to spend around 2 to 3 hours together. we are going to go through some exercises. If you do not know how to find your niche, we're going to get that out of the way relatively quickly, probably within 20 minutes, maybe 30. I'm allowing 30 minutes for that section. We're going to go through some exercises. I'm going to share with you one technique that you can use that's probably going to give you more than you need. All right. So that's number one, discovery. The second part is going to be all about validation. So it's about taking a niche and validating that it has the potential. And what Salma just said, how do you know it's too niche down? That's what we look at. We look at, are we drilled down too much? So that's the second thing, is we're going to validate it so you can then move on to the last part, which is building out your 30-day roadmap. All right. So that's what we're going to be covering. If you have not yet registered and you'd like to attend, I'm going to go ahead and throw this link up here right now. It is brandcreators.com/NFW-enroll. And if someone is here live, if you would do me a favor and type that into the comments, so that way there's a live link there, that would be amazing. All right. So that is the link. I'm going to leave that up. But today is our jam session. And oh, by the way, next Wednesday, that's when the date is, January 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But here's the deal. If you register and you can't make it, or maybe you can only make part of it, we are going to be recording it and putting it into a private training portal that you'll have full access to. And we're going to do some live Q&A at the very end. And we're going to be going through a variety of different niches. I'm actually putting them together as we speak. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, all right. Let's kick this thing off. And I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of coffee before it gets cold. I just brewed this. Do you ever, I don't know, maybe you all aren't a coffee drinker. Let me know that. Coffee, tea, what do you drink in the morning? What's your morning drink of choice? I do celery juice first thing, but then it's coffee for me, bulletproof. Just curious, but I was grinding my coffee beans here just before I got on. Man, oh man, I'll tell you what, when you grind those beans, those things smell really good. Really good. All right, here we go. What's up, guys? Ruth, what's up? Good morning. Jana, what's up? Good morning. What's up? Thank you, Kate, for dropping that in the comments. I appreciate that. Jana says coffee. Yeah, I love my coffee. Oh, and Kate brings up a good one here. I think of omelets when too niche down, but not sure how omelets could be used. Yeah, omelets would be, to me, it would be I think it'd be too niche, but also it's too specific. I think, it's like only omelets is like, what if we had a website that was called, worldsbestomelets.com or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to do the research, but I don't know if there's enough to dig in there. Right. That would be a part of like if someone was interested in making omelets, I don't think like every day they're going to think about omelets, right? They might come up with one or two that they like, eat it once a week, and then they're good. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. I'd have to dig in. Salama says tea. Cool. All right. So here we go. We're gonna kick this off. Our jam session is officially live. We've got a bunch more people on there here now. That's why I always kind of stall here in the beginning. So here we go. All right. So I'm gonna officially kick this off. And let me go ahead and get my notes up here. I've got some examples that I'm going to be sharing. And again, this is a jam session. So if you have any questions, and try to keep it to niching right now, or your niche, if you want to ask any questions, even specifically, if you want to ask about your niche and you want to share it, by all means, drop it in the comments and we'll go ahead and we'll dig into that. All right. So here we go. All right. Welcome to this jam session. That's what we're doing right here. We're doing a jam session. It's Friday. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, we are going to be diving into a topic that gets asked a ton. It's also a huge sticking point for a lot of people. And that is, Scott, how do I niche down? Or what does niching down even look like? Now, there's two different groups of people that are in this category or in this phase, let's say. One is someone brand new. And they're like, Scott, I've got these ideas, but I just don't know if they're worth building a brand around. So there comes the next piece, is validation. We got to validate that. We'll talk a little bit about that here today. But more importantly, we need to come up with those ideas. And then from there, we need to validate it. But we also need to niche down, because if we niche down, we are going to be we're going to be able to tap into a larger niche that might be out of reach right now, and we're able to niche in or niche down. And also what happens here is now you become the go-to resource for that sub niche. I've used this one in the past. Fishing. Fishing is broad, right? Or you can even go a little bit broader. You got hunting and fishing, right? And then we would go fishing. And then inside of that, we'd be like, okay, let's go to bass fishing. And then let's go a little bit deeper and let's go kayak bass fishing. So now we're going to just talk about kayak bass fishing. That's all we're going to do until we exhaust everything that we possibly can talk about with that market. I mean, again, if I validated that there's enough traffic there, which I did, by the way. So if it's kayak bass fishing, I can then start building out my website, all focusing on that topic. But now if I want, because I'm going to create this brand that I can talk about all fishing stuff, but I'm going to start with the kayak fishing. You know, what I would not do is I would not title my website Kayak Bass Fishing Tips, right? I would call it something like I'm obsessed with fishing or fishing obsession or something like that, right? Like something broad that way there we could put these other subcategories or these sub niches underneath the main niche. Okay. So that's one example. I'll give you another example here in a minute. But that's the first group of people, right? They're in that, I don't know, I've got some ideas, but I don't know if, I don't know if it's going to be too niche. I don't know if it's going to be, too broad, so we need to niche down. So that's like group number one. Group number two is I've got a website, I've got my niche, but I don't know how to niche down. I don't know how to get out of this exercise niche and how to get down into more of a sub niche, like a certain style of exercise, or maybe it is, I don't know, Pilates, right? So maybe it's, you're going to drill into Pilates and that's going to be it. And then maybe it's Pilates for women over 40. So that's drilling down, that's niching down inside of a rather large niche, right? Exercise, and then we go into, Pilates, and then in Pilates, we niche it down into Pilates for women over 40, something like that. I'm just making this stuff up. I have no idea if that's sub niche or not. But again, I'm giving you an idea of like someone that's right now, or I'll give you another example. Let's say someone right now is selling one product. This is another, so there's actually three camps. All right. There's someone starting out. They don't know about, a niche as far as if it's going to be worth it. And then if it's niched down too much. So that's like camp number one. Camp number two is someone that already has a brand in a market, but they might be too broad and they want to niche down so they can start getting some more traffic. So that's that group. The other group is someone already started selling a product, right? And now that product is all that they have. They're going to try to build a business around that product, right? And if you're doing that, then you have to find an angle. So an example, and I'm going to be using this one as an example here today, so this might help. Let's say, for example, you had a resistance band and you were selling a resistance band. Now that band could be used for someone that is, I don't know, a pitcher in baseball, right? That uses it for, warm-ups, right? It could be used for maybe it's just older people that want to do light exercise, right? It could be at that market. Or let's say it could be for physical therapy. Okay. So then it's like for a certain, exercise or a certain thing that you have to do to kind of go after repairing your knee or your back or your tennis elbow or whatever. Right. So you get what I'm saying? The band is the band. Who does the band serve, and who can you create content that would serve those people that would lead them back to your band, right? A rubber band, resistance band, is just a band, okay? Who is the market that we're targeting is what we need to get clear on. Once we get clear on that, and then we've done the validation piece that we know that there's content people are searching for, there's questions that people are asking, then we can feel confident building out in that sub niche. Okay. So that's how I would address that if I was selling a single product. Okay. Same thing, a water bottle, right? Water bottle, generic. Anybody wants a water bottle, right? But is there a certain crowd that is into this certain water bottle that you can target? Is it someone that does rock climbing? And then there's a certain water bottle that you're going to make that's for their needs, because all the water bottles on the market don't serve this need. They don't have a clasp on there so they can hook it on their belt. I don't know, right? So then you can start creating content in the rock climbing world, and then your water bottle is just one product that they could potentially buy. Okay. So again, 3 camps. There's 3 camps. But in the end, we got to niche down. Bottom line, we got to niche down. Now, I shared an example. Actually, I wrote an email and I was talking about a niche, one of the niches that we're using as case studies inside of Brand Creators Academy. And we revealed it yesterday. We've been kind of holding off because we didn't want the traffic from the Academy people to come over, and we didn't want it to kind of skew all of that. So it's been about 16 months now. And it's a perfect example of how we've taken a really large market and we've niched it down, and then even niched it down a little bit further. Because of that, the content becomes easy, because all we're doing is we're answering questions that are being asked. And a majority of the traffic that's coming through, and I shared this yesterday in the Academy, I shared that a lot of the traffic is coming from questions. So one little tip for you, if you are building out your brand and you have a niche, or you're even doing your niche research right now, make sure that there's questions being asked in that niche. Because if there are, there's your simplest content that you could ever make. Okay, is answering questions. Answering questions. All right, we're getting over 1,200 visits a day to this one site, and a majority of it is from questions. Okay, now when they come over for those questions, are they interested in the topic? Of course, because the content pulled them in from what they were searching for. So now that they're on there, I could say, do you like this? Do you need this? Here's something you should know. And then you start to bring them into the world of your products, your offers, your email list, and all of those things. Okay. But we got to niche down so we can target those people. So when they land there, they go, this site is all about my problem or my hobby or my expertise or a thing that I want to become better at, like whatever. That's what we need to understand. Okay. We do not want to be a site that is about everything. Okay. We want to be really, really focused. So when they land there, they're like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to give you an example right now. Now, this is a live jam session that we're doing right now. If you're listening to this on the podcast, it's obviously not live for you, but if you want to take part in our morning coffee talks, well, I would encourage you to head on over to takeactioncrew.com. You'll go there. You can jump on our email list there, which will just give you more information about the morning crew and what's happening there. We'll have some fun contests and stuff coming up too. And the other thing is there's a cool player there that has all the coffee talks. And then you can search through there to find a topic or something that you are needing help with. And you will be able to find that specific spot in all the coffee talks that we address that issue. It's a really cool player and it's free. You can go check it out. I mean, I'm paying for it, but it's free for you to use. So just head on over there and check it out. TakeActionCrew.com. All right. So let's get into it. Let's talk about an example here. And I did a very, very little bit of research before I jumped on here today. And one of the niches that we were actually a list that we were putting together for this upcoming workshop, which is our Niche Finder Fast Track workshop. We wanted to come up with some different niches that we can use as examples. And one that came up was physical therapy. So physical therapy it's actually a niche, okay, that is also in, if you would say, injury. Like if someone was injured, physical therapy would be a sub niche to that because it's something that you need after you get injured, right? So just throwing that out there. So if you were like, okay, it's kind of in the, the health or the, you could even say medical, which you really don't want to play with the medical field, but physical therapy could even be chiropractic. So let's just say physical therapy, still kind of broad, right? So how would we niche down physical therapy? If you do a search and you want to look at the search volume for that, I use Uber Suggest. Physical therapy gets like 370,000 searches a month. Okay. Physical therapy. That's for someone that's going to key in physical therapy. Now you would say, wow, that's awesome, right? I want to get all that traffic. That's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is I'm seeing, okay, that's the size of that search. That doesn't mean that's the size of the entire market because it's probably a lot larger than that. But that gives me an indication that, okay, that's a pretty good amount of searches for that one keyword. So now how would I stand out in physical therapy? Well, I did a little search, and all I did here, little tip for you, little ninja tip, is all you need to do is type in physical therapy for, and then do a search. And then it's going to come up, and here's what I came up with. There's two of them that came up that I thought were interesting. Physical therapy for dogs. Physical therapy for children. All right. So let's talk about the dogs for a minute. Like, that's a whole nother like sub niche inside of here that you could develop a whole site probably. And I didn't do the research, but you could probably do a whole site on physical therapy for dogs. The other search that came up was physical therapy for animals. So not even just dogs, it's also animals. It could be all. So now let's say we did this: physical therapy, animals, dogs. Physical therapy, animals, cats. Physical therapy, animals, horses. Physical therapy. Do you see what I'm doing here? Right? Physical therapy for fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. Okay. So that's how you niche down, guys. I wish I could make it seem like it was harder, but it's really not. But a lot of people overcomplicate it, and they think that they have to have this big formula, right, on how they're going to figure this out. This is exactly what I'm doing. All I'm doing is, if I see a market, I'm going to see where is there a sub niche that I could potentially penetrate the market and stand out and get traffic. Of course, I got to go through the validation process, right? I still got to see, is there enough traffic in all of these other searches that are being done inside the physical therapy for dogs, for animals, for horses, for, maybe it's, like I said, for, what did I say? Horses, dogs, cats. I don't know if there would be any other animals. I'm sure there is, but I'm drawing a blank. But I would do that. And then I would drill into that topic. And then I would say, okay, is there enough search that I could build something out? How would I do that? Well, I would want to find another site that is publishing content on that specific topic so they can validate it for me. And you might say, well, Scott, someone's already done it. Why would I do it then? Well, just because someone's done it does not mean that you can't do it, right? We want to look at that website as proof. Also, it's going to give us information so we can then get ideas of other sub niches in that market because they're already ranking for some stuff. Okay. I mean, that's exactly all that we're doing right now is we're looking at the data now that we have stuff ranking. So the very first stage here is to get your niche selected, start coming up with 10 or 20 questions, start posting, getting those ranked. Once you start getting those ranked, you're going to also see what other keywords people are finding your site. Then you can start to build out content on that. And that's when it becomes really, really simple. Okay. I didn't say easy. I said simple, right? It still requires some work. Now, if you're listening to this after January 20th, 2021, you can still go to this link. If you go to brandcreators.com/NFW hyphen, you got to put a little dash in there, enroll. If you go there, you're going to see our Niche Finder Fast Track Workshop. I am going to go through this entire process in a Fast Track Workshop. So if you're interested, make sure that you go there. If you're listening to this on the podcast, go to the show notes of this episode. You'll find the link in there. We're creating this training live, but we're going to record it and we're going to offer it for people in the future because we know this is a huge sticking point. All right. So if you're interested, make sure that you go there and go through that training. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the best 2 to 3 hours that you've spent because it's going to clarify everything for you. We're going to discover the niches. We're going to validate niches. And we're going to build out roadmaps. Okay. That's what we're doing during this workshop. All right. So hopefully that helped you. Niching down, really important, super important. And it's something that you should be doing, whether you already have an existing brand, whether you are brand new and just starting out, you really need to do the niching down. I'm telling you right now, it's a game changer because you're not competing with the mass market. You're just niching down, but you got to validate that there's still enough traffic in that sub niche. All right. So hopefully this has helped you. And cut. All right. We're going to go ahead and answer some questions now. So let's go ahead and let's see here if we got any questions. Okay, cool. Jana, my main niche, personal growth, niche down, get over self-sabotage, fear, procrastination. Yes, but I would take it a level deeper. Okay. Personal growth, you're going to niche down, get over self-sabotage, but who is the person? Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it a kid? Can we niche that down a little bit further? Right? So could it be I don't know what the search might be, like how to get over self-sabotage for kids, or how to, and it might even be a different word than self-sabotage. How to become more confident for a teen. Maybe you're going to go after the teen market, right, at first. So that's what I'm saying here. So whenever we're doing this, we got to think about the person, the avatar, as people call it. I don't think we need to get down to, well, it's a woman. She's 42 years old. She's got 2 kids. One's got blonde hair. One's got, black hair. I don't know why that would be, but you get what I'm saying, right? So I don't get that crazy with it. It would be more of like, okay, I'm targeting teens. I'm targeting parents with newborns. I'm targeting, like, I need to know who we're targeting. And this here to me is a little bit too broad. So I would always start with trying to find that. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't then go, okay, let's talk about procrastination for midlife people, that are going through midlife crisis, like whatever, right? Like we could go into those other areas later. We need to start in an area, build it out in there, and then we can start to branch out. But we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves either by calling ourselves a specific niche in the brand name. We want to allow that to be open. So hopefully that helped you. How many articles with your niche site do you ramp up and write before slowing down? All question posts. Well, it depends on your budget or your time. If you have time and you want to commit to doing 2 articles a week, then knock yourself out. I would just keep up that cadence. If you have a budget that will allow you to do 2 or more, then I would say do it. I would say I would lock in for at least 12 months. For at least 12 months. Commit for 12 months, okay? And first off, don't worry about the quantity at first. Worry about the quality, but also I want it to be a routine. I want it to get some rhythm. I want it to start working really, really smooth. So you get one created, you go through the optimization process, you start to, learn the keywording, you get to learn the flow a little bit, and then you start to see, okay, this is pretty much just reps now. Now we're just doing reps. Then we can say, let's add another one to the week. Maybe we'll add another one to the week. Like there was a point that we were doing eight articles a week, and then we backed off, and then we went down to like 4, and I think now we're doing 2 and 2 on the 2 different brands. And we may ramp that back up again. If there's a sub niche that I want to start penetrating, then I'm going to go ahead and maybe put up more articles that month, and then I'll back off a little bit. But it just depends on the individual. It also depends on what your goals are. But the one thing we don't want to do is we do not want to overwhelm ourselves, and then it becomes like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up. Then you back off, and then we lose momentum. So it's all about getting that momentum, starting small, scaling up. All right. What WordPress plugins do you use to view analytics of how blogs are performing? That would be Ubersuggest. And again, it's not perfect, but it gives me an idea. And Salma, I believe that you're going to be on the Niche Finder Fast Track Workshop. I will be using Ubersuggest, so you'll be able to see that live in real time. What do you use to convert blog to PDF? There's a tool called Designer with 2 R's. You could also go to Fiverr and pay someone $5 or $10 to do it. They'll do that as well. Or you can take that blog post that's already written and export it as a PDF. There's multiple ways you could do it. How do you decide on pricing for your products, workshops, and membership? There's not really a science behind that. It's what feels right and what's the goal. So, okay, Niche Finder Fast Track Workshop. Charging right now anywhere is between $27 and $37. It may go up to $47. Okay. Why that price point? Because people when they are looking to get started, they're not sure. They're just not sure about other, people out there that are trying to teach stuff. They're very leery. So if I need to charge more, right, or if I want to charge more, I also have to build more trust over time. It takes a lot longer to sell someone a higher ticket price or a membership, because a membership is a commitment now. Okay. So what I like to do is with these little mini offers is it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? It's like for $27, for $37, I'll go through the workshop, right? And so for me, anything under $50 is usually, there's not a lot of, I don't have to do a ton of research. I don't have to be proven a ton of stuff. I'm just going to give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, I'll get a refund. Big deal. And it's a way for me to get people interested and give them immense value. Okay. So that way they're like, I love this. I love the way Scott teaches. I love what Chris does inside the workshop and BCA and all the support we get from the community mentor. I want to join BCA. Like, that's the goal. Okay. It also allows us to create a filter system. So that way there are people that are coming in, they've put in a little bit of money. And then from there, they can graduate to BCA if it's the right fit and the right time. So there's really not a science behind it, other than if you are just starting right now, like if you are asking this question because you want to know what is best for you, I would say start at a lower ticket and get your feet wet and get some testimonials, get some people that are going through it to give you feedback, right? Even if you charged $17 for a workshop, great. Charge $17, get some feedback, get some testimonials, help those people. I don't care if it's 5 people. Help those people, get those testimonials of how you helped them. And then those testimonials are going to help you sell more later, and you can increase the price and all that stuff. Hopefully that helped. Money well spent. On what, Alejandro? You probably said it as I said something and I didn't recall. Is there a difference between niche and avatar? Yes, there is. Avatar is like the individual that you're targeting. The niche is the market. So avatar person, niche market. That's really what it is. Alejandro, would you suggest for an example in the PT example, PT for shoulder and post blogs and videos regarding shoulder rehab, for example? Yes, 100%. Now, does that mean that you're going to be called like shoulder HQ? No, I wouldn't do that, because I don't want to only have to talk about shoulders. I want to be able to talk about knees, lower back pain, all of those other things. But if we target it for dogs, let's say, right? Like my dog, this is crazy, actually. My dog, Brody, who's my older dog, he's 8 now. And he had what was it? It was like a ruptured disc in his neck. And we went to the vet, emergency, and we had to get an MRI, or no, it was a CAT scan? I think it was CAT scan. $2,200. And then the surgery was like another $5,000. So it was like $7,000. We paid it. Now, my grandfather is rolling in his grave right now, because he's like, what we used to do is we used to just put the dog out of its misery, right? But I could never do that. I love my dog, right? And it's my kid. So I'm going to pay it. People are willing to pay it. So are people going to be searching for physical therapy for a dog? Yes, I know that for sure, right? Because I would have been that one. We actually did, because we didn't look at physical therapy. We looked at how to relieve, maybe it was like neck pain or neck recovery after surgery or something for the dog. And up came like CBD. So we could do a whole section on that. It doesn't just have to be physical therapy. It could be all the different elements, and just physical therapy could be a part of it, right? So the reason why I'm sharing that is because we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves, but we do want to carve out a section of that market. So in that case, it would be pets, it could be dogs, and then we're going to focus on dogs right now and different types of surgeries that they're having, and then we would explore those. Okay, Jana, 40-plus-year-old women building online businesses. Great. I like that, because now we're calling out that specific person. Your content should specifically address those people and at the stage of life that they are at. So you might want to start looking around that market and trying to use that, like midlife, I don't know. Yeah, I guess the other one too would be empty nesters. I think we threw that one in our sheet the other day. So stuff like that. Atlanta in the house. What's up, Derek? Better late than never. That is true. Are the written blogs created with keywords in mind primarily and helping your clients secondarily? No, it's starting with the main keyword, but that keyword then is going to be explained throughout the content, and it's naturally just going to have keywords that are related to that article naturally. Now, what we will do when we're writing out that content, and one little trick here, I shared this on a coffee talk in the past, is what we'll do is we'll take the main question or the main topic. We'll use Google to let us know what are some other questions that they're asking related to that one. And then those could be our subcategories. So then they naturally give us more relevant keywords inside of that piece of content. So it's always to help the person reading it. It's always to help them. We're not going to just try to make something up so we can get ranked, because then that doesn't do you any good. People come on and then they leave, right? We don't want to try to bait and switch. Thank you, Salma. I will do that today. Take that sip. All right. Let's see here. Workshop equals extreme value. Yes, it will. You know, that's the other thing. Let me just point this out. I know, Salma, you had asked this question before. My goal also is to blow you away with value, right? So you eventually want to join Brand Creators Academy, because inside of Brand Creators Academy, that's where I spend most of my time. Example, yesterday, I did a pop-up live. Basically, I announced it early in the week, but I said, this isn't our scheduled call. We have 2 calls a month. I said, this is not our scheduled call, but I'm going to jump on and I am going to do this niche reveal. So I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on for the past 16 months. I'm going to show you all the numbers. I'm going to show you a new revenue strategy that we're using, all of this stuff. And I'm just going to jump on and do it. So Chris and I jumped on and we spent over an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. So it's delivering extreme value. The other thing is I love doing this stuff. So, you know, it forces me to get it in a structure that's teachable. But this stuff is happening in my head all the time. So now it's a way for me to be able to go out there and teach it and blow people away with the amount of value that you get for under $50, right? So that is part of that strategy, if you want to call it that. Cat scan for a dog? Ironic. Yes, I know. Isn't that funny? Are you showing examples of unsuccessful niching down to or too much where it's not possible to monetize in the workshop? Yes, I'm going to try to find some examples of niches that are even started that I don't believe are that great. And I'll explain why. So I'll definitely be sharing that. Do you think the market is saturated with too many blogs of comparison of Amazon A versus B versus C products looking to get an affiliate income? No, I don't. I don't think there's ever going to be a shortage of that. And there's always new products coming out. So whenever you're going to do comparisons, it doesn't even have to be just Amazon products, but it's just you're comparing A to B to C, right? And there's always going to be searches for that. We have some really they're doing very well is a lot of articles that are this versus this. Or if you're looking for a certain product, it's best, 5 best, whatever, fishing lures for bass fishing or something, right? And then those would be 5 products. So no, I don't think there's ever going to be a shortage for that, or there's never going to be a time that there's just too much, right? I think there's always going to be a place for that. The professor always over delivers. I love it. Salama, how much time do you spend daily on your niches versus membership work? I would say on the blog stuff, because I have my VA doing a lot of that, I spend very little. I think I spend of my own time, I spend 10 minutes in the morning looking at the analytics. And then once I look at the analytics, I will, if I have any ideas for my VA for topics, like I just literally 4 or 5 days ago, I sent him a list of a few things that I wanted him to start drilling into. And it's funny. It's a couple of box services, like monthly box services, that I wanted to start to kind of do. The fishing market has a box service now, right? So it would be like if there was 3 different fishing box services, monthly box services, I would want to do a comparison post on all of them. And then that way there are people that are looking for that. I know they're interested in one of them. And if they buy through my link, I'm going to get either a recurring revenue off of that or I'll get a one-time off fee. So yes. But anyway, to answer your question, I spent about, let's call it 15 minutes. I'm not writing the content. I'm not posting the content. I could, but I'm not. I'm in a place where I'm able to invest in those websites. So I'm investing in those websites. It's starting to come back to me, but not enough to where I'm making a ton of money off of those. And to be quite honest with you, I may even sell one off in the next 12 to 18 months as I build it up. So that's the other, kind of forecasting there. Dabblers can become committed subscribers if allowed to wade into the pool at their pace. Yes, and Octavio is a guy that is part of our BCA tribe, and he's someone that came in knowing nothing really about building out a website, and just over 12 months now, built out a website in a pretty competitive market, found a way to get traffic and rank number one, built an email list, built a digital product. Oh, and by the way, he's got a full-time job. So yes, and he's got kids and a family and a wife. So there you go. What's your favorite tool for getting ideas for niches or drilling it down? There's a few different ones I really like, and I don't even know if it's a tool. One of the ways is start with just a random niche and then start doing a search in Ubersuggest, and that will probably lead you to more ideas, right? But a quick way to do it is just take inventory of what you are interested in right now. Like, what are you interested in right now? What are you trying to learn about? Or what are you passionate about? I would start there, because if you start there and you find something, it's going to make the process even easier. Okay. So I would always start there, because if I can find something that I am really, I'm passionate about marketing, I'm passionate about building out websites. That's what I'm passionate about. So I love doing that. So these niche sites that I'm building, I'm just running it through the process. I enjoy building things, right? So I would always start with what you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in growing bonsai trees and cutting them and doing all of the stuff that you do for bonsai trees. Maybe that's your thing, right? If it is, maybe that's a niche. See, so we always got to start there. So what I'm going to do during the workshop though, Derek, is I'm going to run through an exercise so we can kind of go through that and extract that stuff, get it down, and then we can start to dive into certain areas there. But that's just one way of doing it. Is the title of your course the same for your niche? I'm not sure I know what you mean there, Derek. The title of your course the same for your niche. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Thoughts on selling a course for $9.97 and then membership for those students only? Salma, it's going to be a lot harder to do that. Right now, if you want to sell something for $9.97, you need testimonials, you need a track record, you need goodwill within a market. Bottom line. That's the only way that's ever going to work in my eyes. If you're brand new and you're I'm going to create a course for $997 and I'm going to bolt a membership on the back end of that, man, that's going to be a tough road. It's going to be a tough road. I mean, think about yourself. If you were following me and I just come on the scene and I'm like, hey guys, my name's Scott. I've been doing this for a while. I'm pretty successful at it. I built multiple businesses. I've even sold one. I'm going to teach you how I've done it. It's $997. Here's the add to cart button. How many people are going to do that? They're going to need me to do these coffee talks. They're going to need me to follow up through email. They're going to need me to show up without asking them to buy anything, and it's going to take time. So I would not go after that model. I would go after the model of come up with something you can teach, get yourself used to teaching. $27, maybe start there, $17, get some feedback, make that product, and then build off of that. That will lead you to, well, do I want to create a flagship course? Do I want to create a membership? I would never start there. It's going to be really, really hard to do. Is the title of the book the same you would need for a niche, or are we talking promoting the course? If the title of the book is the same, would you need for I think so what you're saying, Derek, correct me if I'm wrong. if you created a book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Succulents, because I know Cassidy, a good friend of mine who does that, The Ultimate Guide for Growing Succulents, right? If that's your book, could you create a course that was the ultimate video training, for growing succulents? Yes, you could. And the reason why is and I wouldn't call it the same. I'd be like The Ultimate Guide to Growing Amazing Succulents. And then the other one would be like, learn the exact strategies or learn the exact process for growing succulents that thrive in even cold climates or something like that, right? Full video training. So basically that same guide could be turned into a video training, and then you just bring it over here. You don't want it to be the exact same thing. Doesn't mean it can't work. I just wouldn't want it to be. Serve your customers first. The money will come. Be patient. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes, Alejandro. That is exactly it. But so many people want to get paid today. They want to get paid right now. And I get it, right? We got bills to pay. I got bills to pay. Okay. But there's been a lot of digging. There's been a lot of seeding. There's been a lot of watering, the soil. That's what it takes. Right. And if you're following, like what I've done as far as, building out a blog or building out some content, it always starts with, how do I create useful content for people to find and consume and lead back to the brand? Right. That's it. Have the email list to communicate with people so you can build that goodwill, build the trust. When people know, like, and trust you, way easier to sell. I mean, a lot of times people will sign up for one of my workshops without even reading anything. They're just like, oh, when is it? Boom. Yeah, I'll go. I'll come. Yeah, I'll do that. You've already built that goodwill, right? So that's what I would say. Yes. Salma, have a great weekend as well. And let me just say this, guys, one last thing. If you need help with finding your niche, because I'm telling you right now, if you find the niche, everything becomes easier. We don't have to be talking about this anymore. We can move on to stage 2, really, which is kind of building everything out. Okay. And then from there, we can start talking about stage 3, list building. And we can go into stage 4, and talk about the monetization and all of that stuff. So we need to get this done, and we need to get it out of the way. If you've been stuck, or if you are stuck in your current niche and you want to niche down, then I would encourage you to join me for the Niche Finder Fast Track Workshop. It's a brand new training. I'm going to give you guys workbooks, exercises to go through, and I'm going to be showing you real examples of myself drilling down in these niches, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're interested, head on over to brandcreators.com/NFW-enroll, and you will get all the details there, and you'll sign up, and then you'll have access next Wednesday, the 20th of January at 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't make it, don't worry about it, because we're going to record everything. And then we are going to put it up in a private training area where you're going to be able to access it with all the worksheets, downloads, all that stuff will be there as well. All right. But the live one, you'll be able to ask your own questions if you have any, or you can just listen to the recording after the fact. All right. So that's it, guys. That's what I got for you. Have an awesome day, awesome weekend. And I'll be back here Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right. Monday. And we'll probably be talking a little bit more about niches. I think I might even grab a niche and do a little bit of validation. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. Let me know what you think. Should I do one niche validation for you guys on Monday? I don't know. I'm thinking about doing that. Let me know. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care. Have a great weekend. See you soon.